Mm.
Okay, guys, we are live. Okay, we are live, guys. Well, as you can see, I'm back in California. I got back about 11:30 noonish today. But we had to get to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning to make that happen, and I'm just like dead tired now. No sleep last night. But I will tell you, being in Iowa was a fun trip. Here comes Coach. He's coming on now.
All right.
So he didn't miss anything important. He's just going to hear my boring story.
He is.
Oh, I don't know. All we see is a light.
I would say Coach is a fan
Yeah,
of
he
the
is.
show.
Definitely got a fag thing going there.
We're all a fan of Coach.
I thought he said the other F word. Are we live?
We
Yes,
are.
we are.
Oh yeah. When he said, "I see a," I never mind. I'm not going to say what I thought I heard him say.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, I got to watch the game.
Hey,
For those who hadn't heard it yet, at Wellman's Pub in West Des Moines. What an experience they make that. It's more than just turning on the TV and letting you watch the Hawk game, guys. It's just they have a fan experience. The music. They even at the beginning, right at the beginning of the game, they do the back the black. Was it back on black? Back in black.
Back in Black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they started the game with that. I mean, that just got you all fired up as soon as they go doo doo doo, and that was all fired up. And then every time they scored or went to a commercial break or score, they'd play the Hawkeye fight song. And so it was a lot of fun. And I tried my first Swarm beer. Guys, it's not bad. It's really tasty and smooth.
All right.
I highly recommend it. Actually, I'm not a beer. I don't like beer, but I did it for my grandson because he wanted Grandpa to share his first beer with him. And
Oh,
so we did. His first legal beer.
his first legal.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Well, guys, we're here to kind of preview a little bit about the Wisconsin Badgers game coming up. Um. So I'm looking at their stats. Their stats aren't all over crazy, both team wise or individual wise. Something I would have not expected from Wisconsin. I mean, their Braylon Allen is only has 472 total yards. And I had thought he'd be double that by now, pushing 1,006 games into the season, or I guess 5 games for them, right? Yeah, 5 games for them. Um, and so, but he is averaging 9.4 yards a carry, and they've
Oof.
got another running back averaging 6 yards a carry. So their yards per carry. I mean, they're not getting a lot of yards, but they're making them count. Is what it looks like.
Malusi's out for the year, though.
Is he?
Who
Okay,
is?
Malusi.
Number 2 running back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the 2 running back. Okay, so
Basically,
forget his yards; they don't count.
they have 2 power guys now. Malusi was the speed demon. He's the one that had the 90-yard touchdown run against Buffalo.
Uh huh.
But the other 2, RB3 is just another big boy. Not fast,
Okay.
big.
Yeah. Well, and according to the stats, their quarterback is the third best running back on that team, and
Yeah.
so
He takes
that might explain his lack of touchdown catches, or not very many of them, or throws, and his
right.
yeah, he does have 1,021 yards passing. I don't know what Cade and Deacon have combined. I didn't look.
Mm.
It'd be interesting to know what combined, how many yards passing
Combined
they've got.
150 or so.
100. I mean total yards passing.
Yeah. 600.
100. Oh, 650. I thought you said 150.
No, that would be Deacon. Deacon
Okay.
like 150 some yards, and Cade has 505.
Yeah. Okay. They've got 2 receivers. One's got two. I mean, the 2 main receivers are Will Pauling and Bryson Green. They both average over 11 yards a catch, and one's got 243 yards. One's got 218 yards. So, um, So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what to make of those. I know stats don't mean anything, but I was just kind of find that interesting that the stats aren't overwhelming I would think for a Wisconsin team this far into the season. What do you guys think about Wisconsin?
It's not the same Wisconsin team. That's why I keep trying to tell people.
Yeah.
This isn't the same team.
Yeah.
They won the air raid. However, their receivers are not good. If they really try to throw the football, which I think I was going to make them try to throw the football. They're going to try everything they can to run. And it's spread out. It's not that power style that Iowa struggled with against Wisconsin. This isn't the gap run scheme like that would hurt Iowa in the past. This is just an air raid team that can't throw the football, right? What they do have is their powerful O-linemen, and they have their running backs. They have an air raid quarterback, but they do not have air raid receivers. And receivers are a big key. And when you're installing the air raid, because there's so many option routes, like the receivers have to understand and quarterback have to be on the same page. So because you have to know if you're going to run a slant, if you're going to run a dig, whatever, because you adjust your route to what the defense is doing. That's what makes the air raid so tough, is the receivers actually adjust their routes to what's happening on the field. That's what their option routes are. So, I just, like I said, I don't have Wisconsin scoring a lot this weekend. I don't have Iowa scoring a lot. So
okay.
I think
you put Iowa down. You put Iowa as a 17-13 winner, I believe you put out there.
Okay, 274. I didn't count you're right. I did not count the passing yards against Purdue. You're right. South Bend. Either way, that's not. What is that? 120 some last week. Whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay. Yeah. Okay. I thought maybe he missed something, and he thought we were only talking about Deacon's yardage and forgot about Cage yardage.
No. I did my stats. I did not add last week's passing.
Okay.
Extra 20 yards.
Okay. Cool. Good. Hello, Jared. Welcome back. Good to see you guys tonight. You and South Bend so far.
Go ahead.
Okay. What is the current favor in this game? So, what's the line look like?
It's Wisconsin's favored by 10. It's been going between 9.5 and 10.5, and now it's back down to 10.
Seriously, 10 points.
Yep.
That's interesting. That seems like a lot for an Iowa-Wisconsin game. Okay.
The over-under is 36, so they're thinking the odds makers are thinking Wisconsin wins 23-13.
Okay. That could be typical. Yeah. Okay.
I want to hear what. Please.
Go for it.
We keep interrupting like what Paul's taking.
I know. Paul, do you have anything you want to add so far?
I'm just taking it all in. Look, Wisconsin, like I said, this is not, Brett Bielema's Wisconsin. This is not
Paul Chris,
Wisconsin, right?
Or even Barry Alvarez, Wisconsin.
Right, or Barry.
Well, I think all three of those guys, it's the same Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was. They were, yeah.
It.
Yeah, Barry Alvarez started it. He stayed as athletic director, and I think most of those guys ran what Alvarez wanted.
More importantly, this is not Jim Leonard's Wisconsin defense.
Absolutely. You're right.
So, because even though we talk about Wisconsin and, this isn't Paul Chris, Wisconsin, it's not. Those teams didn't exactly light the world on fire against Iowa's defense. They did enough most of the time. Right. But, it wasn't like, we're sitting here worrying about giving up 40 points, right? It was 10-9. It was 12-10. It was 13-16, so but a lot of that too was that Jim Leonard defense, that odd front that we couldn't run the ball effectively, couldn't throw against them. So, there's that.
And what helped Wisconsin was they always had like stud running backs.
Yeah.
That we couldn't stop the one dude who plays for the Colts now. I can't think of his name, but
Nobody could stop him, though. I mean,
right. So, he took Wisconsin to another level, like Iowa.
Well, Melvin Gordon was really good for Wisconsin. I think he was committed to play at Iowa before he flipped to Wisconsin. So,
yeah.
Which is probably, when you think about it, was probably the best choice for him because he wouldn't have had any 300-pound linemen pushing people off the line at Iowa.
I don't know if you're an NFL back, look, Akram Wadley did very well, as a smaller back. Jonathan Taylor's his name. Yep. Yeah. I think, Jonathan Taylor, Melvin Gordon, all those, they would have all had very successful college careers at Iowa.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley would have had a great career at Iowa.
Because those are home run hitters that we're talking about. Think of all the long runs this year that if they had an explosive person with the ball in their hand, like KJ, they would have scored. I mean, think about Patterson's 50-yard run. If that was K2, he would have scored, right? Same thing with Williams. Williams had a 50-yard run. All he had to do was outrun the guy, but he couldn't. See, like those guys would outrun everybody and score, right? I mean, that's a huge difference when you have a home run hitter.
Now, why are you calling Johnson K2? Because you called him that in some various posts this week too.
That's because that's what they call him at Iowa.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Because his number's 2.
Oh, okay.
Calling him KJ because I was calling him KJ, and then I was told no, don't call him KJ because of the last one.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, duh.
They call him K2, so I'm gonna call him.
Okay. I got it.
What they call in the locker room is K2. So
yeah. Okay. So
the most important thing about this game that we haven't brought up, it's the Fox 4K game. So or it's in 4K on Fox. So make sure you have, your hurricane preparedness kit and everything, because this game could go on for 9 hours with the Fox commercials, but it will be in 4K, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And
did you notice anything different about the Peacock game?
Right.
How fast that game moved.
Right.
You'll be able to see every raindrop. It's going to be the same weather that was at Penn State.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, we don't need that. That didn't bode well for us.
Well, Wisconsin's not Penn State.
True.
I mean, that's a huge difference.
They don't jump around at Penn State, though.
Yeah. So Casey's got Iowa winning 21-17, and Jared has it 10-6. Okay.
No, that was the 2015 outcome, the 10-6 game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nobody.
But I think if Iowa is
could we just get some help and luck on our side, like the quarterback accidentally tripping over his own lineman trying to go in for the winning score,
bubbling at the goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kane was a beast too.
Okay. I just threw it because we seem to be going down memory lane for Wisconsin running backs today. So Eric wanted to chime in on one that he liked. Remember Ron Dane?
Yeah, he was a beast, but he played the bad years of Iowa, right? He had 100 yards rushing one game. Actually, he broke the rushing record against Iowa, if I remember right.
He sure did.
Yeah. I mean, and he took Iowa to school, but
I think many Wisconsin backs took Iowa to school.
Yeah, but I mean, this was like 99 when, it was lean years.
Oh, before Iowa relinquishes its stranglehold over Wisconsin. Okay. Jared wants to know how many yards K2 can get on the ground. I'm assuming against Wisconsin.
For Iowa to win, he has to get 90 plus.
Yeah, I would say he's going to get over 100 yards rushing.
I think that might be bold, considering I mean, well, every defense is out to stop the run against Iowa, but I don't know that he cracks the 100-yard marker. But if he doesn't get over 90, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I think he's going to get over 100 because of like I said. I mean, the offensive line is getting better and better every week, and it's the team, right? We're not doing that zone blocking.
Right.
We don't have the talent to do the zone blocking, right?
I would agree that I thought the offensive line looked pretty solid this week.
Well,
they even gave Deacon enough time to throw passes so he could figure out how to overthrow everybody.
Sometimes he just chucked it like he didn't care. I'm not throwing an interception. He just threw it in the God's country. So
yeah.
By the way, I love the fact
Jared has the score 13-9. I want to move on. Okay. South Bend says they have a 5-to-1 ratio of rushing TDs to passing TDs. Let's get that D line fired up. So, is he saying that we should be stopping the run like you said at the beginning there?
Yeah. I honestly think that's what their goal will be, to shut down the run and make Mordecai throw the football.
To which case, maybe we shouldn't be overly surprised. When Iowa plays mobile quarterbacks, we tend to rush the passer a little differently, right? It's more of a contain on that defensive line than it is actually get after the quarterback.
Yeah, more of their pocket collapsing more than anything. It's not us going out around the edge to try to get. It's keep the pocket contained. Bull rush. That's what they'll do. They're going to bull rush the pocket, keep him in the pocket, and just push the offensive lineman back as far as they can. And I mean, they did the same thing against Card last week. It could, because he could move as well. Right.
Right. They did a good job on him last week. I thought they really befuddled him.
I was really stunned at their game plan, Purdue's game plan, because what we've seen be successful against Iowa is not the quarterback holding on to the football and waiting on routes to develop or whatever. It's, quick passes and things like that. And
not going at Cooper.
Yeah.
As many times as they went at Cooper, it's like, what the what are you doing? And maybe that's because Harris is on the other side, right? You can really tell Harris is getting his feet back. He's still Deion Sanders. Like, he's not going to make a tackle hardly.
Right.
But the way he tackles is just, it's to not get hurt, which maybe it's because of his injury. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he legit reminds me of Deion Sanders tackling wise. But maybe it's because he's on the other side and he's like locking down his side, that they have to just pick and choose where they go. So they're picking on Cooper, and they're learning that that's probably not the way to go. Yeah. But I think they just thought that Burks could just fly right past Cooper. I don't think they knew how fast Cooper was, right? Because Burks is a world-class sprinter. And yes, he was faster than Coop, but on the football field, it's not all about freaking 100-yard dash.
Right.
It's about instincts. It's about how there's an out of bounds for a reason. So, I mean, it's about how you use the field. So, and Cooper is unbelievable in that area.
Okay. Says Eric wants to know if there's any word on when Shannon could come back. I'm going to tell you what the Des Moines Register said, then I'm going to backtrack it. Des Moines Register said that he could come back to practice, but he wouldn't be back before November 4th. Kirk in his news conference clearly says he's back at practice, back on the roster, but no timetable on when he would be back playing. So I'm guessing the Des Moines Register meant that it didn't necessarily mean that he'd be back on the 4th, but it definitely won't be before the 4th of November against Northwestern. So, because I took some heat on putting that on my post yesterday, because I posted what Chad Leitzico posted, but I probably should have reread that. He said by the 4th. There's no way he would be before the 4th of November. So that just means that we're not going to see him in the next 2 games for sure. We might see him in the Northwestern game. We might not. Plus, he has to get back into game shape because he also has a hand injury that they're dealing with. Okay.
Yeah, don't ever listen to the Des Moines Register. That's just
Well, they got inside information. They actually talked to Kirk.
that
They actually talked to the assistant coaches.
that doesn't mean a darn thing.
Don't some people call that like the Des Moines rag or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure they've earned their reputation.
When I was in Iowa this week, I intentionally bought the Des Moines Register for the first time in a long time, the Sunday Register, so I could read the sports write up on the game, how they did it. Okay, Jared says I want to see Deacon throw a few 50-plus yards. Could we just get him to throw a few short yards and get them completed first for first downs before we start chucking it 30 yards downfield?
If you go back to the Purdue game, I think his first pass, he chucked it about as far as he could. It was about 70 yards in the air.
Yeah.
It was great to see. I mean, if for nothing else, it kind of hopefully maybe backed Purdue off just a little, like, okay, crap, this guy's he's not gonna dink and dunk. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Okay. Jared also wants to know, how did Washington State beat Whiskey? Does he mean that there's no way Washington State should have beat them? Or does he mean that maybe Kirk should study what Washington State did to beat them and beat them? And
here's what they did. They had more points when the time ran out. That's how they did it.
Thanks, Paul. We needed that little humor and that quick wit. I would have never thought of that.
What they did was they forced turnovers. Mordecai had 2 fumbles. Basically, they beat Whiskey the same way Penn State beat Iowa on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they beat them. I want to say the score was 31-23 or something. So Wisconsin scored. So that's not like the Penn State game. But what Washington State did on defense against Wisconsin was a lot like the Iowa-Penn State game as far as turnovers. They made Wisconsin – Mordecai had – I want to say he threw a pick as well. So we had like 3 turnovers in that game. So Wisconsin's defense did not do that bad considering the turnovers that took place.
Okay. You also have to keep in mind, too, that was like week 2. I think the game was at Washington State. It was a night game, or Big Ten teams going out west.
Don't usually fare well.
Yeah,
but Wisconsin always has fared well going out west, though.
They've done better than most. Definitely better than Iowa has.
All right. South Bend says Whiskey QB1 is averaging about 40 yards rushing per game. They say he's a straight up the gut runner, not a side to side. Is that what you guys see, or have you not seen enough of him to know that?
Yeah, he's not as quick as Hudson Card. He's more of a 40-yard dash guy. Mm-hmm. He runs probably a 4.6 40. So for a QB, that's not bad.
Yeah. So would you say that he's going to be hard to stop if he runs it straight up the gut instead of going side to side?
Well, he doesn't. I mean, they don't call running plays for him. When they do it, it's reading. So I think playing Utah State was a huge deal for Iowa. They learned a lot. Wisconsin does a lot of that zone read stuff that Utah State did that killed Iowa in the first half, if you remember. Mm-hmm. That I was getting so mad about because it's so easy to stop. You just have one guy. Whichever direction the quarterback's going to go, you just hit him regardless.
Right.
The fake, whatever the defensive end on that side is, you just kill the quarterback. Don't worry about if he gives it to the running back because you can hit the quarterback. So just keep punishing him and make him not want to run that dang zone read anymore. So, and I think that's what they're going to do. They learned from the Utah State game because if you remember in the second half, that's what they did, right? They shut that quarterback running crap down.
And, we talked already about the defensive line playing that contain, keeping things in the pocket. We're going to have to rely on guys like Yaya Black and Logan Lee and Aaron Graves. Those guys have got to stay disciplined, right? And,
stick with their bull rush. Don't just try to go around and try to make a play because then you create a gap.
Right.
That's when Mordecai will be dangerous is on a passing play. If a defensive tackle gets out of his gap trying to make a play, eat that hole, that's when Mordecai can run straight ahead speed, right up the middle. So, yeah, that's with what South Bend was saying. He is a straight line runner. That's true. Mm-hmm. So if a DT gets out of position and leaves a gap for him to run through, that will be tough.
Yeah. Ari Gold is just pointing out what you already did about the weather coming Saturday.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's take another question. How do you expect the special teams will perform? Well, if it's rainy and windy, they're just going to fair catch the ball, or just let it drop wherever it drops and get away from it.
Yeah.
You know what? That's another part of the Penn State game that's not going to happen. I believe again is the stupid turnovers that went against Penn State, right?
Right.
Like all those bad things, the weather. That's why that's a throwaway game. Now, if the same crap happens this game in the rain, then it's on the coaches, right? I mean, how do you not have the players ready to play in the rain again? So, and I don't think we're going to see the same crap. I think they'll have it set up to where if maybe even the blockers find the ball early or have Cooper call off, or maybe they just don't return the ball very much, right? They say it's going to be a fair catch, don't block. You know, if find the ball as a blocker, do not let that ball come down and hit you, because with the wind, that ball is going to do all kinds of different things when it's in the air. So, I mean, I hope they don't go full conservative on the kickoff return. I don't want to see all those fair catches again. Wet Jen is a good returner. Let him return the ball.
Special teams is
it almost seems like they don't trust him because
that was the game it happened. I think it was the win. I don't think it had nothing to do with trust. I think it was the game plan.
Okay.
Because the defense played freaking 7 yards off the ball. Remember that?
Right.
Dinking and dunking the whole way. Like the whole game plan was conservative as heck. I don't think we see that this week. I think they're going to have the corners up on the ball, 3 or 4 yards off, like they have been doing since the Penn State game.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. Brian showed you a discussion he had with Labus's mom, pretty much saying what I've always been trying to say and getting yelled at about it from you guys, is that Labus has been ready to go since week 1.
She didn't say that.
She just said that information was inaccurate when he said that.
But yeah, that's what she said. It was inaccurate as far as him being hurt in the spring, because Brian didn't even know, or Brian forgot. Brian even said that he did forget that Labus played in the spring. We all watched the spring game and Labus played.
Right.
She was saying that Brian got wrong. She didn't say that he was ready to go.
Okay.
Like Labus did, he was accurate as far as Labus being, he's ready to go now, possibly. He's still fighting his injury.
Okay. All right. Well, I could go with that. I mean, if he's still fighting his injuries and everything, maybe he's, maybe, I don't know. Okay. For me personally, I'm just kind of disappointed when you had a quarterback perform as poorly as he did. Why our number 2 quarterback wasn't out there at least giving him a shot, who's already proven that he can do it.
Because he's been hurt, but he is back to full speed now. And from what I told you guys a lot of what I mean, Paul, did you read the stuff I was sharing?
No, I missed it.
Oh, okay.
Paul's had a crazy week.
No, I know. If he read it, but there's just too much drama going on in the locker room. Paul, if you go back and read it, I'm not going to share it on the podcast, but the latest.
South Bend wants to know if it's a random one. Do you feel the same about KF right now as you did before the Purdue game?
Yes. South Bend, yes, I do. And Dean knows because he read what I found out this week as well. So, but he let Brian do his thing. As long as Kirk lets Brian do his thing, then I'm happy. It was Brian's offense for 3 quarters. Once they got up 20, was it 27 or 20-6?
20-6, I think. Yeah.
20-6.
Okay. I know it was 10-0 and then 10-6 and.
Well, the moment the score was
27, it was 20-7, guys.
Okay, the moment the score was 20-7, we knew what was going to happen. 9 straight runs. That's not Brian's offense, right? But we can't argue with Kirk's style because it wins.
Right.
When he gets a double-digit lead, he's freaking 68-2.
Right.
And the last time they lost, they threw the ball 50 times. So that goes against.
It's not even double digits, right? It's just 8. We just have to get up 8 points.
Right. It's just 8 points. So no fan can realistically argue with Kirk because the last loss they literally threw the ball 50 times. So,
Right. That's true. Actually, that's true. After we had a 3-score lead.
Yeah, they were up 17-0, and they still threw the ball 50 times and they lost. And Kirk was like, "That ain't gonna happen again," right?
Yeah. So now we know why Kirk doesn't like to get aggressive late in the game when he's got a 2-score lead.
Because he likes his defense. He's a defensive coach. He does not care about offense once they have a lead.
Right. Okay. South Bend says winds are forecasted to be northeast 15 to 25 miles an hour with higher gusts. That's most important to note that, in his opinion, in the stadium is a north-south field. So,
let me tell you,
with the kind of bullets that Deacon throws, maybe the wind won't bother him.
I was just gonna say, hey, maybe throwing against the wind is exactly what we need for Deacon.
That's what the receivers need, right? Because the wind is not going to affect his. The only thing it's going to is he'll probably throw it 100 yards.
Once the wind picks it up and carries it, yeah.
Instead of the 70-yard flicker, the ball will end up going 90. So.
Right. Okay. Casey wants to see Joey because he's a little bit more mobile than Hill. I'm also on the Joey Labus bandwagon, but it's not going to happen, and we might as well get used to the fact that Deacon's probably going to finish the season unless he gets hurt with a soft tissue injury. Or not.
I mean, there's just no way. I mean, I don't even want to pick, so I'll say something stupid. So, but you're probably right, D.
I'll just say this. The coaches see these guys in practice. They saw them in camp. They saw them in spring. If Joey gave Iowa the best chance to win on Saturday, he'd be starting. I really firmly believe that.
And I don't doubt you, Paul, because Kirk's always gone with the ones that he feels will give him the best chance to win the game because he wants to win games. The players want to win games more than we want to see these wins.
Yeah,
but let me. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I'm thinking right now Kirk's in a mode where he's been taking a lot of heat for the offense the last 2 years, and the Fire Brian thing. I think he's doubling down on his stubbornness, and he's going to hold firm and fast to the decisions he's making, whether they're right ones or good ones, because he wants to prove to the world that his way works. And he wants to prove to the fans and the media that his way works, and he just wants to show off, hey, this is my team, I'll do it my way. Because he keeps saying, and he's been saying it for the last 2 years, that he wins games doing it his way. It may not be pretty, but he wins games.
Yeah.
Okay, I said my piece. But I just think Kirk's gotten to the point where he's just becoming a stubborn old fool.
Maybe.
I don't know if I'm on the Kirk bandwagon anymore. I have been on his wagon for 25 years, but
I think he looks at who is least likely to turn the football over, not who is most likely to score points or lead an effective offense. It's who do I trust not to screw it up, and I think that's just how he feels.
But Joey hasn't thrown an interception yet.
Okay.
That's true.
By the way, Casey would like you to know he has the Jags running back on his fantasy team.
You're talking about Travis Etienne, and yes, he's playing really well right now. My Jaguars just beat the Bills, went 2-0 across the pond, and so and it's funny we're playing Jonathan Taylor on Sunday, so we have Iowa, Wisconsin on Saturday, and then I've got Jonathan Taylor to deal with on Sunday. So great.
Yeah. Okay. Jared likes reading Jason's arguments with the other Iowa fans because it's entertaining.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, I get so many messages from people that enjoy that because I back down from my opinion. People think they can control my opinions. No,
Yeah.
I'm very strong-minded. Regardless.
Paul South Bend has got this one directed at you if you want to take it.
Yeah, his narrative is winning, and Iowa's now won 10 out of their last 12 games. So, you can laugh, but he's laughing all the way to in the win-loss column. So there it is. Just win, baby.
South Bend is giving me kudos. He thinks I've joined the new era of fans who want to
who want to lose. Yeah, the new era fans want to lose games 35-31. That's not what I'm about. I'm about the realism of what's going on. The only thing about KF is his how can I say this without actually saying his way of going against his coaching staff. The way right now, the drama in the locker room is strictly KF driven. Because he's so mad that they would question him about taking Deacon out and putting in Joey when he's completing 1 of 10, and then now doubling down and then saying, "Oh no, Deacon's the Deacon," when Joey is coming back healthy. This is what I will say to everybody that I can say. Pay attention to this game and see Joey's reactions on the sideline. See if he has the headset on his head. If he gives his headset to Cade, no, Cade isn't calling plays. That's not why Joey gave up the headset. Because I know some people are like, Brian's not calling the plays. They gave it to Cade. I know some Iowa fans will say that crap.
The backup quarterback always has the headset.
Right. But no, I'm just saying, it should be Joey and Marco. But Joey last week was really frustrated with the way things are going. Then he got frustrated more with other issues with what's being said in the locker room. And then now. So, like I said, just pay attention to his demeanor. Yeah. If he doesn't have the headset on.
By the way,
there's probably
in one of the, whether it was a post-game conference or preview conference or whatever it was, Kirk threw Joey under the bus but a different way than he did Hogan.
He didn't throw Hogan under the bus. Hogan was just awful.
Yeah.
But he threw him under the bus when he said that, God help him, he would have stayed in Iowa City if he had to start the game with Hogan.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's not throwing him under the bus. That's just honesty there.
Right.
Hogan was straight up awful, and he's awful at Kentucky.
I was just saying, wait a minute. You mean Deuce Hogan? He's lighting it up somewhere, right? Here he is. He's at Louisiana Monroe with 22 touchdowns, right? No, he's not.
He had a walk on. Nobody would even give him a scholarship.
He's still at Kentucky, not playing, right?
Yes, he's like the third string at Kentucky, and he probably wouldn't be third string at Iowa.
Okay.
However,
say
this: we could talk about KF, and I'm with Paul in this as far as what KF. I mean, you guys can laugh all you want. Mm-hmm. Name a transfer besides the one transfer who went to play with his best friend that is doing something that he wouldn't have done at Iowa. Name one transfer that actually excelled besides Charlie Jones when they transferred.
Yeah, most of the Iowa transfers did not find the grass greener.
Jake Rudick did okay at Michigan.
You're right. But he went to Michigan and he played quarterback.
And there was another quarterback, I can't remember his name, a few years ago that transferred to Louisiana Tech or something, and he did okay down there.
Eastern Illinois. Wasn't it like Eastern Illinois or something?
That was like Jake Christensen.
Oh, yeah. But no, I'm not talking to where somebody was better, because when Jake Rudick left, he only left because he was losing his starting job to a better quarterback, right?
Right.
At least we thought was a better quarterback, and CJ Beathard. So that was a different situation.
Right.
About the way Iowa fans are talking about all the players are leaving because of KF and the offense. But they're not doing anything when they leave, except Charlie Jones, and he went and got 144 targets. Right. He would have made the NFL if he was stayed at Iowa because of his kick returning ability, just like ISM. And they would have used it more at receiver, right? Would he have gotten 144 targets? No. Would he have been drafted in the 4th round? Probably not, but he would have got drafted. ISM got drafted in the 5th round, more for his returning ability and stuff. But like I just all this. So I mean, there's my positive with Kirk is apparently the coaching staff, like what Paul was saying, knows what they're doing, right? Because they wanted Tracy to move to running back. He went to Purdue to play wide receiver. What position is he playing now? Running back.
Iowa also had a wide receiver transfer to Texas Tech, who I think did pretty good.
Back in he was one of my favorites, James Cleveland.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Cleveland, he was one of my favorites. But yeah, he did. Back in
the mid 2010s or something.
Yeah. But he couldn't crack. He didn't do any. And even at Texas Tech, like he was just one of the receivers, right? They had so many of them that like he didn't like bust out for 80 catches or nothing like that. He was just one of the wide receivers.
He did well, but he didn't become like a superstar somewhere else.
I think he caught like in the 40s, but they were throwing the ball on every down. He was one of their receivers.
Okay, so Ari's letting me know that Kirk's reaction was based on pulling Deacon after one bad half. That would have been dumb to do that. Okay.
Agreed.
Okay, I will take that answer. I accept that answer. Okay. Do you think Joey transfers? If he does, it will be a Q battle between Hill, Markle, and Cade.
Well,
there are many people who believe Cade will not be there next year.
Yeah, well, Marco, I think, will stick around. Deacon will stick around, and Cade will stick around. Joey will be gone, and then they're bringing in this kid from Bishop Kenny here, whatever his name is.
Razor.
Razor, yeah.
It's Razor.
Yeah.
It's Razor. I heard a interview on him after he committed, and he said it was Razor.
Hey, Casey, that's my dream scenario because Marco went out on that.
So
Marco's my guy. Y'all know Marco's my.
Don't count out Razor Ochoa.
Okay.
What?
All right, there's a lot of comments on quarterbacks. I'll try to get as many up here as I can.
Oh, but to answer Casey's question, yeah, and I think his mom is involved as well, which is why his mom was so short with Brian Suter. Like his mom did not want to answer Suter. She just says that you're wrong. And then she did not.
Yeah, she didn't explain herself or anything.
Didn't go any deeper than that. And I think she's turned into Hogan's mom, right? He knows the truth.
Well, and the big thing is she would be going outside of the box and hurting her son if she actually came out and said what she felt the truth was, because she'd be going against Kirk, and I'm sure Kirk likes to have the parents muzzled up a little bit themselves.
I mean, right, but then why comment at all?
Yeah.
That was probably because she got tired of reading that narrative all over the place.
By the way, let me remind everybody: we're 5-1. We're not 3-3. We're not 2-4. Trying to figure out, are we going to make a crappy bowl? We're 5-1 and in the driver's seat for the Big Ten West right now.
Yeah, and a big time bowl game. Right.
Right.
Win this week, they probably go 11-1, right? If they win this week, they probably go 11-1 and end up in the Rose Bowl with Michigan probably going to the playoffs, right?
Rose Bowl is part of the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Well, they'll play both games.
11 and probably 11.
Oh, you're saying that Iowa would be in the playoffs. I get what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Even if they lose the Big Ten championship game, which is pretty likely, right? So let's just say they're 11-2. They're probably no worse than back in Orlando for the Citrus Bowl, or could be in Miami for the Orange Bowl or something again. So,
yep.
So it says Deuce Hogan could not learn the playbook, something that you've been saying all along. Well, maybe our playbook needs to be simplified a little bit to help these guys out.
Remember, I explained that to us last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 100%. I don't know if any of you guys ever went and watched. Any of you guys just have spare time. Yes, on defense, we have had players transfer. You're right, Darlo. Brents is in the NFL now. However, the guys that were in front of him at Iowa are also in the NFL now. So.
Yeah, I mean, when he was around, I feel like Desmond King was probably here, and
yeah, there were other DBs. Josh Jackson, I think, was the guy that was in front of him, to be honest.
Right.
Right.
Micah Hyde or something. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So-
Darwell says Brent, so I assume that's Julius Brent. I don't know if he's saying that he went on to have a good season when he left Iowa or a bad season.
No, I'm sure he's talking about he had a good season
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the NFL. Brent's he did good at K-State.
Oh, he didn't transfer out. Okay.
Well, and then we had another defensive back that transferred to like West Virginia or something. I think he played in the league for a little bit.
Possibly. I don't know that one, but yeah, you're probably right.
Okay. Here's one. Alex Padilla has a 318.4 QB rating with SMU.
He's 1-for-1 passing.
Well, one for
Is
one.
that so? Ari's trying to be facetious here.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say too. I didn't know quarterback ratings went that high.
Yeah, he's 1-for-1 passing.
He's
Okay.
batting 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what was I saying? Oh, the playbook. Yeah, like I said, if any of you guys get a spare hour, watch the video of Brian explain the zone read. Like I almost think that the Iowa's playbook is NFL playbook, right? I really think they probably brought what he learned at New England to Iowa, and these students can't learn an NFL playbook. That's not their full job. They have to be learning in class and everything else. So like NFL playbook, yeah, you can put all kinds of crap in there. Hell, you can probably learn a different offense every week because that's your full-time job, right?
Yeah. So this is why our guys do so well in the NFL, because we play kind of an NFL pro style game.
I mean, yeah. I bet you the tight ends, when they go to the NFL, they're like, wow, this is pretty easy to learn. So, I mean, I really do. I think it's
Nebraska trying to make it to 6-6. Let's just hope when they play us, it's not 5 and they're at 5-6, that they're already got their 6th win.
Or they're at 4-5 or 4-7.
Yeah.
Or 4-6.
Yeah, where they can't make a bowl.
to go
They either
back.
have to be out of it or already have it in the bank. I don't want them having to need that game to need it. Okay.
To go back to Padilla real quick.
Okay.
You remember what his major was?
I forgot.
Was it medical or something?
Yeah.
He was
Like, he's an extremely smart dude, and he admitted in an interview 3 years in that he was just now starting. Like, he was on his 3rd year. So he had 2 full years. In his 3rd season with Iowa, he was just now starting to get the grasp of the offense, like the full offense and understanding of what's going on. Like, that doesn't tell you, like, what's with the playbook. It's not like Padilla is like this idiot who can't learn a playbook. I mean, then you got guys like Hogan who struggled learning stuff, and he just couldn't even pick up a little bit of the offense.
Well, look, hey, 4-0 against. Go ahead,
What are you
South Bend. Even if let's just say that's the case. Look, there's a lot of teams out there that are 3-1, 2-2 against teams that are in their caliber. You can't be better than 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, and Iowa's strength of schedule is getting better and better every week. You know,
Right.
Iowa State keeps winning. Utah State keeps winning. All these teams where Iowa fans are like, "Oh, they're crap." You know what's going to happen this week when Iowa beats Wisconsin? Wisconsin's going to be a bad team all of a sudden.
Well,
Yeah.
It's going to go from Wisconsin's going to beat us by 20 to, Wisconsin sucked.
Right.
They just are a bad team. I mean,
Right.
Iowa fans are just nutty. That's just crazy.
Ari Gold has OSU would beat us 42-13. I'm going to disagree with this one, Ari. I just out of respect. Ohio State's not putting those kind of numbers up this year.
They're
They're
really
beating teams, but not with the gaudy numbers they used to.
Kyle McCord would throw 4 picks against Iowa. Right now, they're 5-0. He's got 8 touchdowns, 1 pick, and
and they can't run the football. Surprisingly,
they can't do anything really. You know why they're winning? Because they'll just throw it up to what's his name, who has
Marvin Harrison Jr. or Jackson Smith and Jigba or one of them guys.
the other one. It's number 18. Like you said, it's the first guy, Marvin
Yeah.
Harrison.
Harrison Jr. Yeah.
Yeah. So No, they wouldn't score 42 against Iowa.
Mhm.
The only team I'm afraid of for Iowa would be Michigan. Michigan just has everything. Their defense, I don't think Iowa would do much against their defense. Their offense, Iowa would slow their offense down, but I mean, that's the one team in the division that really, because I don't count the Penn State game because of all the bad crap that happened. That wouldn't really happen in a game.
Jared, to answer your thing, I don't think there's any pretenders in that list. I think all of those teams are legit good football teams. Even Ohio State, I mean, as we were just talking about them not being great offensively, they're still very talented on defense as well. And so I don't think any of those are pretenders. That's just me.
Yeah, and I would agree with you on that. I mean, yeah, Washington and Oregon have had some, down years, but even their down years are 9-3 or 8-4.
I think Washington and FSU are pretenders, but other than that, I got to see Washington play somebody good. Now Oregon hasn't played anybody good yet either. I think don't they play each other this week?
Yes, that's part of our picks for this week. So we'll get to that.
Washington hasn't played any, but these guys talked about Iowa's schedule. You know why Iowa's schedule is getting tougher? Not just because their teams are winning that they've played, but this Oregon, Washington, they haven't played anybody, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, like they legit haven't even played in Iowa State. They haven't played at Utah State. So, yeah.
Well, Washington played Michigan State.
Right. Well, that's in the same category. I mean, they're 2-4, right? I think Iowa State would beat Michigan State. And just in my personal, I got to see.
Now, I think they've had like 4 new guys hit the transfer portal recently.
I would say that Iowa State would beat Michigan State any day of the week this year.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa State's not a bad team. And it turns out they're lost to Ohio. They only lost 10-7, but Ohio's killing everybody. So Ohio is beating everybody right now. So
you just brought up picks. We're getting dangerously close to the hour mark, and I think we still wanted to go over our picks from last week.
Yeah, okay, so let's do the picks. Okay. All righty. Okay. Last week, Jared, Jason, again, 8-1. Good job. You're at 27-12, and you got the first. No, wait a minute. You're not at 27-12 yet. I got that wrong. You are 35-13. First place.
Good.
Okay, Paul, 6-3. You and I both went 6-3. We both were doing well, but we both picked the Packers to beat the Raiders, and the Raiders won. So,
Lucas Van Ness, where were you? Where were you?
Yeah, so you're 33-6, and I'm 33-15, and I'm 32-6. So let's get your takes on the games this week. As usual, we'll start with the Iowa-Wisconsin game.
Did you just say you're 32-6?
16.
I meant to say 16. If I said 6, I apologize.
I was like, I could have swore you'd done more games than that. Okay, I apologize. I was too busy laughing at South Bend for making up a bunch of crap. Penn State defense did not know a damn thing. I mean, if you can't see the difference between fumbling on a punt team, getting hit, and all the bad things that happen, I mean, Penn State fumbled and the ball bounced into the Penn State hands. So whatever.
It was just one of them games.
What's the first pick again?
Okay, Iowa versus Wisconsin.
I got Iowa 17-13.
I'm riding coattails here. Let me take the Hawks 13-10.
I could see that too.
Guys, I'm going against the grain this week.
That's fine. You need the pick.
That's it.
Wisconsin 10-6.
All right.
Okay. Oregon at Washington.
By the way, we all took the under for Iowa, Wisconsin. So if we all took the under.
So now we're going to be accused of influencing the game.
We might as well just everybody put $1,000 down on the under because we know it's going to get under.
Okay. Oregon versus Washington. I took Washington.
I got Oregon.
Okay.
Paul. I got Oregon because of what I said. Like I haven't seen Washington do much yet.
Where's the game? I don't even know.
At
who's
Washington.
I'll take the Huskies.
Okay.
That is a cool stadium if you guys ever seen it.
It really is.
Yeah, it's a really cool stadium.
USC at Notre Dame.
I
I'll
got
t-
Notre Dame.
I think it's my turn to go first.
Yeah,
Mike.
go for it.
I'm going to take the Trojans.
Okay. At Notre Dame.
Did you got me down for Notre Dame?
Yes, and I got myself down for Notre Dame.
Oh, well, you know what? If I'm going lone wolf, I'm going lone wolf with USC. I'll take it.
With the team
Well,
that,
USC is the higher rated team, and they are favored.
the team
Okay.
that don't play defense. You're
Yeah.
only what Iowa does.
It seems like I'm going after Pac-12 teams this week, but they got the best matchups. UCLA at Oregon State.
Is it my turn to go first?
Yeah, let's go first this time.
Oregon State.
I love Beavers. Give me the Beavs.
Okay.
When
And
I was
I also took Oregon State.
When I-
Okay.
when I was in high school, I legit had an Oregon State hat because it said Beavers on it.
Oh, jeez. All right. Okay. Ohio State at Purdue.
Why are we picking this? It's Ohio State by a lot.
D needs an easy victory.
I see.
Problem is,
Actually, I did take Ohio State, but I think the game will be closer than you guys think.
I mean, it might be. I hope so. I hope Purdue pulls the upset. I could care less, but I'm going to say Ohio State, and I'll root for Purdue.
Okay. All right. Michigan State at Rutgers.
Oh, God. See, this is what we just discussed about Michigan State.
Give me the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, I thought it was my turn to go first. No, I'm very bad at this. D needs to just step up and be a host and tell who goes because I'm bad at this. I'm gonna go with Rutgers just because we just discussed how bad Michigan State was, right? So
Yeah.
I'm gonna root for Michigan State to kind of help Iowa's strength of schedule because they
Right.
Rutgers and Michigan State, and if Michigan State can get up to, because Rutgers would be 4-2, I think, if they lose that game. So
Okay. I also have Rutgers. Okay. Illinois at Maryland. I took Maryland. Paul.
Yeah, Maryland. It's going to be turtle soup.
yeah, I'm going with Maryland as well.
Can you guys see that the Pac-12 has some great matchups and outside of Iowa, Wisconsin, we do not have really good matchups this week. We will have coming up, though. We'll have some good ones. Okay. Iowa State at Cincinnati.
State.
Man, I'm going to go with Cincinnati.
You're on the Satterfield train.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, we already seen Iowa State lose at a MAC school, so I will take I will take Cincinnati there. And
I'm going to take Iowa State, and Nate, need I remind you that Cincinnati is now a Big 12 school.
Right. So
That I don't think that changes much, but yeah.
thank you, Ari. Ari's got my back on this one. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Colts at the Jags. I got this one especially for Paul.
We're going for a clean sweep. And by the way, Gardner Minshew starting for the Colts, former Jaguar. So
Yeah.
That's
Thanks for that info.
Yeah.
Because he should be their starter anyway.
But I'm gonna take the Jags. Hopefully,
I took the Jags.
I'm gonna go with the Colts because of Minshew.
Okay.
The mustache mania is coming back.
Okay.
the Jaguars have not won a home game here in Jacksonville yet.
They should play all games in England, man.
No,
Okay, so here comes the dreaded last game, but I thought it was an interesting game because it's a game of teams that don't want to win, and that's Vikings at the Bears.
I thought you were gonna say like Bears and Panthers, but okay.
Well, I don't think the Vikings have won a game yet. I think the Bears got one. I think.
Mm.
Have they won a game? Oh yeah,
I thought they did. I wasn't
They
sure
did.
100%.
because Dick Buck has passed.
That's right.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whose turn is it to go first? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. Just one of you go.
Give me T.J. Hawkinson and the Fighting Vikings. Yeah.
Vikings. Okay. Vikings win their first game this week.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings as well because the Bears are just god awful. And did you guys see against the Broncos what they did
Mm.
when they, instead of kicking the go-ahead field goal, they went for it on 4th and 1 and didn't get it.
So that's how the Bears lost to the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, legit, it was like at the 25-yard line, an easy field goal for their kicker. They went for it and did not do it. It would have been a leading field goal, right? I think it was like tied up. They would have took the lead.
Yeah. So
is that worse than Miami not taking a knee, the Hurricanes, and
I would say
I was just going to bring that one up. There just seems to be lately some stupid play call going on when you got the game wrapped up.
and we want to complain about Kirk's conservativeness. Kirk don't lose those games.
right?
We would have
Even if-
definitely kicked a field goal. We wouldn't have taken a knee or run the ball.
Right.
Somebody else took a knee when they actually needed to get a field goal to win. I don't remember who that was.
I don't know, but
And by the time they got the field goal unit out there, the time it expired.
yeah. Yep, but I got the Vikings.
All right.
Okay.
So
That's
could you
it,
go
guys.
through real quick before we're done? Could you go through our records again? I can't remember what you said what my record was.
Okay, here. Yours is
You're like 38.
35 and 13.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Paul's 33 and 15. I am 32 and 16. And I probably said 6 because I just realized I wrote 6.
Oh, you were trying to talk yourself into 6.
I meant 16, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it right.
Okay.
All right. Okay, guys, thank you for watching. Guys, appreciate all the comments and questions, and continue
Go
to like.
Bearcats.
Be sure to like it before you leave it, and share it before you leave it. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.
Bye, guys. Bye,
Bye,
Terry.
guys. Bye, Terry.
Go Bearcats.
Go Bearcats.
All right, guys, thank you.